FOMO, Wells only and his guests are not responsible for any losses you may accrue for having weak hands. Where the haters at? Yeah, bitches still ain't showed up. And now, right, we got Hex, flawless uptime. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart.
This is Wells only. Glad you guys can make it out. I'm making some claims that are pretty outlandish, but I can back them up. Boom. End of story. There is no other crypto out there, so don't get it twisted. If you don't understand where you're parking your money, you're gonna pay the consequences for that, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. Boom. We're obliterating everybody, literally. There is nobody else that comes close to what Hex has done. Boom. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest. Yep. That's it. Yep. That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. Shit, motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Like yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. Man, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Y'all deep. Everybody. My God. Hex agents, bro. Everybody. Australians, man. Everybody gets me. Yo, when is it told you? Dollar cost told you. Everybody done told you. It's crazy. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Emergency stream. Hope everybody is having a fantastic Monday. As you guys can see, the full frontal assault on your basic human rights are only ramping up, not slowing down. How does this stop if you don't even know that's happening? The answer is it doesn't, because you cannot defend yourself. This is exactly what I've been talking about for over a year. Education, education, education. Having nonsensical conversations on social media about what could be done means nothing when what needs to be done is not being done. You have all of these fake politicians, because they're clearly actors. They cannot read. They are not reading. They are not trying to read. Behaving in such a way as if they're there to do what's in your best interest, but they're not. And they've never been. And it's high time people realize that that's the case. How else does something like Tornado Cash get banned? How else is the full frontal assault on crypto nonstop? All they're doing is trying to find ways to interject themselves into the system so that they can stop us from achieving what we need to achieve. I'm literally going back and forth with some bootleg politician on Twitter, and all they have is word salads. They don't have anything constructive to add to the conversation outside of, we can have a nice conversation about it. Shut the fuck up and go suck a dick is what you can do. Because when the bare minimum is not being done, there is nothing you can say that adds any fucking value whatsoever. Period. And that's where we're at. The basics are not being done. People's basic rights are being trampled on left and right. And it happens because the people don't know that that's what's happening. So if you want to actually add value, affect change fix what's wrong, learn your basic human rights. Get the fuck off social media if that's what it takes. You're not doing shit on there any fucking way. It's not paying your fucking bills. Stop fucking streaming. Do whatever the fuck you gotta do to understand what the fuck is going on, because game time is over. Practice is over. It's now time to play fucking ball. The time for platitudes is over. It's over. It's come and gone. Acting like you have a clue is not going to benefit you whatsoever, because now the hammers are out. So you better get your shit together. Otherwise, you're going to get caught up in all this shit. All of those that are pretending to know better learn real quick, because they don't care about you. You better care about you. They have no vested interest in doing you any favors whatsoever. And they're letting it be known with every action that they take daily. They're willing to sacrifice your kids. They're willing to sacrifice you. They're willing to lock you in your home. They're willing to let you starve. They're willing to let you freeze. What else do you need to see before you wake the fuck up? Do you really need them to put you on a fucking train cart to go somewhere before you actually fucking get it? Is that what actually needs to happen? Because if that's the case, well, there's no fucking helping you, because people like me are not going to let it get that far, and you're just in the way. So you don't even fucking matter. But if you're not trying to let it get to that point, the way you do that is by knowing your basic human rights. And I'm going to give you guys a book, a reference, a source that you can use that's probably like 50 pages long. But you need to read it. You need to educate yourself, because now is the time. The time to keep acting like it doesn't matter is long gone, because you're at the end of the road in terms of the dollar. To keep pretending like that's something that's going to be there to save your ass is preposterous. It's not. The system is not here to save you. The system is here to enslave you. Learn the difference, because nobody is going to do you any favors. Pay attention. Nobody is doing you any favors. This is exactly what just happened. Precisely what just happened. This is why people can no longer use Tornado Cash within the continental United States, or within whatever they define as the United States in IP. Now, if you want to access Tornado Cash, you can, but I'm not going to discuss how online. You need to learn how to figure it out, because that's where we're at. You need to learn to become self-sufficient. Stop sharing stuff publicly that shouldn't be shared, because clearly they're looking for any way to stop us from succeeding in what we need to accomplish. And you guys have to understand that you are the defense. Not me, not Richard Hart. You. There is no one person that's going to do this for you. You have to do it for you. Do not look to somebody else to save your ass, because we're way past that. That is no longer a plan of action moving forward. It's simply not. If you're not ready to defend your own rights, then you're just not ready to be a part of this world anymore. That's where we're at. You guys do not understand how these things happen. How is it that all of a sudden we cannot access Tornado Cash within these borders? Now, I put the link up to the book that I'm talking about. And let me actually copy paste the title in there. so you guys can at least know what that is. Because you have to know how the legal system works in order to combat it. And 90% of the people, if not 99, if not 100, 99.999% don't know how it works at all. So you can't even begin to speak in any fashion which would allow you to defend yourself. But to sit here and pretend that some other fucker can do it for you is a joke. Because if you haven't been paying attention, nobody's going to do it for you. Period. That's the name of the book. Meet Your Straw Man and Whatever You Want to Know. That's the link. It's like a $6 book. $7, $8. Buy 20 copies. It's $5.50. I lied. Stop buying Hex books. Stop buying all this bullshit that you don't need. And buy this. $5.50. Hand it out to all your fucking friends. This is the kind of onboarding we need at this point in time. All this fake shit is done. It's time for people to step up and defend themselves because nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody. This is exactly why we have all the crap that we're looking at right now. It's preposterous. You got to try to be better. It's not optional. Because at this point in time, it's going to cost you your well-being. It's going to cost you everything. What are you going to do about it? Now, this is the story that dropped today, and I got to tell you guys what's been happening at work. Because if you've been following me for a little while, you probably know I work on Wall Street. And what I'm do is I partake in AML, KYC type endeavors. And over the past couple of weeks, it's become apparent that capital controls in the West are going to become the norm moving forward. Capital controls. This isn't even about crypto. I'm just talking about regular fiat. Now, you've been reading what they've been doing to Russians, but now what they've been doing to Russians is going to be done to you, the average American that's trying to open up an account. While people like Hillary Clinton, the Cheney family, the Bush family, all these families that we know commit all these crimes day in, day out, Biden family, they get away with high treason. Fuck the crimes that they're committing. They're literally committing treason on a daily basis. Everybody knows it. And apparently that's okay. But yet we can't use things like this while they launder billions upon billions. Hell, today alone, it must have been 6.5 billion that they reported that they were going to take. Never mind the Inflation Reduction Act and all these other things that are only going to make your life worse. Now, how is it that this random institution called the Treasury Department and its so-called Office of Foreign Asset Control, a quote-unquote watchdog agency tasked with preventing sanctions violations? Now, what you might not know is the technology that this office uses to do its work comes from none other than PayPal, Palantir, etc. Your so-called big tech friends. So what you got to realize is that all these entities on both sides of the coin, those facilitating the ability for these entities to even find addresses to blacklist, and those that are actually saying, yes, let's shut off Tornado Cash so people can't access it. How does that happen? And these are the things that you as a person living in this world, interacting with this stuff should know. I should not have to tell you. I should not have to inform you. You should know already if you're using this stuff. But the sad fact is that that's not the case. And this is what we have to change. If you think some politician is going to be out here looking out for your best interest, I got a bridge to sell you right now for $1 million. No paperwork required. Just let me get you an ERC-20 address so you can send me whatever you want in payment. Because that's where we're at. So the idea is, if one person can get away with a crime, because this is what they did after 9/11. This was the sad excuse that they used to justify their actions. If a small cohort of bad actors are capable of doing something bad within a system, well, then we must block everyone's access to that system, such that nobody, including those bad actors, could ever do such bad activity, whatever it is, ever again. This is why they rolled out TSA all over the world after 9/11. This is why they are able to violate your financial privacy, your physical privacy when you travel. All of these things happen because we let them happen. This is what we, as a collective cohort of people, have to understand. And you need to inform others and let them know this is happening because you wanted to, because you're saying it's okay, because this is the truth. Ever since 9/11, it's been trillions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars, where the end result for the people is this: no due process, no justified actions, no anything to justify why we're being fleeced left and right. I mean, if you don't know, the the Inflation Reduction Act is essentially a tax increase on everyone. In case you don't know, and you should, because again, this is how you defend yourself. Not gonna happen any other way. If you think some individual is out here looking out to save the day, you're part of the problem. Richard Hart can't do nothing for you. Nobody can do anything for you. Only you can do something for you. When you have 8 billion people screaming at 20 fucking people, they get the fucking point. And this is what the masses do not understand. And we all need to spread this message, especially if you're here right now at this point in time watching this stream live. You need to let people understand that only they can change these issues, not some politician, not some random person that might be famous or might not be. It is you, the average person. If you do not speak up for yourself, somebody else is going to speak up for you. And this is what happens 99% of the time. Somebody else is acting on your behalf because you're quietly sitting there being entirely and wholly complicit in their breach of contract. Because every politician that engages in government today is in breach of contract between us and them. And this is what people don't understand. The government is not there to do what it wants to do. It's there to do what we say it's supposed to do. This is how it works. And we've gone so far left that we collectively don't even realize that that's exactly what's going on. These people think they get to dictate what we get to do, how we get to spend our money, how we get to do all of these things, when it's not up to them. In fact, it's up to us. But we've forgotten that that's the case. So until we all don't realize that we need to put them in their place, let them know that they are in breach of contract and they all need to go, everything will continue as is. Nothing will change. Because all of these entities that brought us to this point are complicit. They're guilty by association. They're not trying to help you. They're not trying to save you. They're not trying to improve your life. These corporations have no interest and trying to make your life better by any means. If you work for one, then you know that full and well, because they sure as hell don't pay you enough to survive, especially in 2022. And this all happens because they all wanted to. All these entities are complicit. They're all in bed with each other. Nothing happens by mistake. And yeah, in case you don't know, the feds raided Trump, or Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago. Now, whether this is a show or not is irrelevant, but we all know the feds are on the wrong side. They're always against the people. We've seen this since the beginning of their existence, of their creation. So, where are we now? We're at a point in time where U.S. persons cannot access this technology, and the excuse is the boogeyman of North Korean hackers. But we need 87,000 IRS agents. Don't you forget that. Here is the press release by the U.S. Department of Treasury. U.S. Treasury sanctions notorious now, because they're BIG, virtual currency mixer, Tornado Cash. Today, the U.S. Department of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control sanctioned virtual currency mixer Tornado Cash, which has been used to launder more than $7 billion worth of virtual currency since its creation in 2019. This includes over 455 million stolen by the Lazarus Group, a Democratic People's Republic of Korea state-sponsored hacking group that was sanctioned by the U.S. in 2019 in the largest known virtual currency heist to date. And that's 6.5, sir. Not 4.5, but 6.5. You missed the 2 billion that came after that. That was the morning goodie. Okay, so what's happened? Well, they use this excuse of some hack in 2019, which, if you were paying attention even a little bit, you probably heard of this. I remember hearing about this. But if you've been around and long enough, you know this is bullshit. All of this is bullshit. Because what they do is they thread together a narrative that's befitting the ultimate course of action that they want to take. And the ultimate course of action is no privacy for you. Because again, the objective is for you to not have any basic rights. They've suppressed your First Amendment, right? This is what they do on social media. And it's already well documented in public record, on public record, in federal court, that social media entities do collude with federal government and local government to suppress voices of political dissent on social media. This is on public record, in case you do not know and are not aware. So that is no longer a conspiracy theory. It is, again, another tinfoil hat turned crown, right? And all we're seeing throughout time is just one more tinfoil hat being converted into a crown, as people such as myself are proven right time and time again. Because the writing is on the wall if you know your basic rights. If you don't know your basic rights, you're going to sit here and have stupid conversations about platitudes that go nowhere. And this is what these stupid politicians like to do. They like to dance with words, say nothing, do nothing, except what they want to do. Because what's the end result? Oh, specially designated nationals list update. Well, this is interesting because how 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 can any of these be nationals? How can these things be persons. This is what they're trying to say here, aren't they? This is something that if you read this book, you're going to discover precisely what they're trying to do here. This is funny. I hadn't even noticed that. But you guys catch this. This is the office, the U.S. Department of the Treasury. The U.S. Department of the Treasury talking about go get a vaccine. They don't even know what to do with money. This is why the dollar is worth nothing. Do you think that taking advice from them in the medical capacity makes any sense? Probably not. Probably not. And thanks for the super chat. And I'm sorry, I'm just over here in rant mode and I completely just skipped over it. Give me a second, bro. The real plebs are the ones applauding this morbid violations of American rights. Yes, and you know the sad fact is that it's not even an American right. It's a basic human right, and this is what it's lost on most people. This is a basic human right. Your right to privacy, your right to free speech, your right to not snitch on yourself, your right to have your own 3 feet. All of these things are crucial to your autonomy, are crucial to your sovereignty, are crucial to your existence. If you cannot control what you say, what you think, what you do, you don't exist. You're just some slave robot. Now, back to this. How can a bunch of random character strings be nationals? Now, it might be that at some point we start having these legal conversations or conversations about the law and what we're actually subjugated to. Because a lot of you guys don't realize that what you think is law is not. There's so many layers to the lies that it's almost impossible to start to discuss them in this type of forum because it's so unbelievable. You think that you are you when in the eyes of the law or the legal system, you are not. This is exactly why they can designate these contract addresses as specially designated persons. Because it doesn't make any sense. And these are the kinds of things that stand out to me as an individual that help me learn these weird things that I know that nobody else knows. Don't forget this. They're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine week over week. They're continuously passing fugazi legislation to fleece your pockets, and all these corporate entities just comply to take the money out of your pocket. This is what's going on. It's not happening because it's out of your control. It's happening because you're letting it happen, because you're not speaking out, because you're not educating yourself, because you're just letting them use the system as it benefits them and not you. It's our job to correct their errors. If we're not correcting their errors, then we're in breach of our own contract with ourselves, because we're not respecting ourselves. We're not respecting our autonomy. We're not respecting our sovereignty. So don't be mad if all these things are happening, because you clearly are not invested in finding the freedom that you're so eloquently born with. Because we're all born free. But the system tricks us into playing the system's games. Because this is clearly not a person. So how can they do this? How does this make any sense? Because it doesn't. And this is where you come to realize that you don't know anything about what the fuck is going on. And if you're not thinking that and you don't understand this, then you're just lying to yourself. If you don't understand why a contract address ends up on a specially designated nationals list, if you do not understand that and you do not understand how you do not understand what's going on, then you're part of the problem. You need to figure out how some random character string, some random string of characters can be considered a person. Because this is the trick that's being played on everybody. Now, this is the nonsense that was put out today by a person that is second in command um, within the terrorism and financial intelligence unit at the U.S. Treasury. Tornado Cash has repeatedly failed to impose effective controls designed to stop it from laundering funds for malicious cyber actors on a regular basis. Treasury will continue to aggressively pursue actions against mixers that launder virtual currency for criminals. You guys have to realize that these narratives are built up over time, just so actions like these can be taken by these bad actors. I mean, it's funny. They're talking about malicious cyber actors, but here we have a class of citizen, a class of people within our society that are looking to go out of their way to be bad actors themselves, behind the guise of trying to provide safety and security for I don't know what. So how does something like this stop? It doesn't if you don't get involved and speak out against it. Again, it's one thing for just a person such as myself to say it. It's another thing when everybody's saying it. They can't hide when everybody is saying it. They are in breach of contract. You have to let them know they are in breach of contract because they're going to keep acting in their best interest because you're not saying anything. You're just tacitly agreeing. You're acquiescing. Tacit approval is saying nothing. Another good point. If they were really worried about laundering money, then every bank in the world would be shut down. And we know that's not the case. We know that's not the case. We full and well know that's not the case. Now, this was, I guess, the breaking. Nah, this wasn't the first one. I think this was the first one. Oh no, this wasn't the first one. Yeah, this was the first one. The first article on it. But here we go. This is catching them in their own dirt, right? Anthony Blinken tweeted what the Treasury Department actually alleges, that Tornado Cash was only used by a DPRK sponsor group. So this goes back again to my point where they're going to use the actions of one entity to impose bad policy now, not law, because this is no law. Man cannot impose law on man. And this is the biggest trick that's been pulled on us all. No man can tell you how to live, how to survive, how to do nothing. But they sure as hell can limit your access to software protocols, right? And this is what we see because this is man-made. So because this is a commercial sanction, a commercial action, these entities are beholden to actually following them. So what's happening? Well, we have our rights as persons, as sovereign individuals. But what the government does is that they go around the Constitution and our Bill of Rights by using these middlemen, these entities, by invoking commercial policy on them such that they limit our freedoms. This is what they're doing. This is why you can't get a job in certain places unless you get that death jab. This is why you now can't access certain websites, right? It's because these commercial entities are saying, okay, we will do this for you. Just like you couldn't walk into a store without a freaking face diaper on. Just like you couldn't open your business for 2 years because some random fuck face like this douchebag said so. They're not providing any level of service to you while they're acting as a public servant. So why are they there? Because you're letting them stay there. As soon as they shut everything down in 2020, everybody should have been out of their house walking towards DC telling them hell no. Period. This would have ended right then and there. You wouldn't even be talking about no damn tornado cash. You just would have never got this far. But what happens is that when you give them an inch, they take a mile. And the longer you sit uneducated, the longer this continues. So we're all subjugated to the consequences of others' actions. How does that make any sense? This is exactly what they've been doing since 9/11. This is exactly what they've been doing since 1913. And the longer we continue to act like this is okay, to act like we don't have any part to play in this, the longer it continues. Look up this book on Amazon. It's $5.50. Everybody needs to read it. ASAP. ASAP. If you read nothing else in your life, read that. Because this is not going to get any easier. This is not going to get any better. This is only going to get worse. They literally are saying you cannot engage with a contract address, which you clearly can't. But you have to understand why they think they can do this. And it's because we've been letting them do it this whole time and not realizing that's what's been happening. Educate yourself, folks. You want to fight this evil, you better know what the rules to the game are. Crying to politicians is not going to solve this for you because they're complicit. Media is complicit. Corporations are complicit. All these big organizations that you think might be there to do you a favor are complicit. They're not going to do you any favors. They're not going to protect your rights. They're not going to do anything on your behalf because they win every time you lose a right or an ability to invoke your right. Educate yourself. Defend yourself. There is no other way. Nobody's going to save you. Only you can save you. And in that same vein, we save ourselves. Because again, when we're all screaming the same message, they can't ignore it. Because this is just one of the many steps on a path to nothing good. If we don't do what we have to do now, because this isn't going to end here. If you think that this is the last of it, that they're just going to sanction some little tornado cash and they're not going to try anything else, then you just have not been paying attention. Just read how they write. They're still trying to invoke CBDCs. They're still trying to find a way to do that. And you already see USDC is acting on the behest of US Treasury, just like I told you they would. This is exactly how those addresses ended up on that blacklist. Understand the game that you are playing, or be subject to the disaster that's coming. What they're doing is beyond reproach. They will continue to do what is beyond reproach until you educate yourself and learn to defend yourself. Nobody is going to defend you. Nobody can defend you. Thank you for the super chat, RH Max. Appreciate you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Educate yourself, folks. There is no other way. There is no out here. Stop looking for one. Look in the mirror. That's the only out. This is the excuse that they're always going to lean on. Because some bad guys did something, we got to remove your ability to do all these other things, even though you did nothing. This is how government has been operating for the past 20 plus years. Only you can stop it from operating that way. Nobody else. TSA should not exist. Department of Homeland Security should not exist. All these things that came into existence after 9/11 should not exist. All these things have to be decimated. They have to be repealed. They have to be neutralized. It's not an option. We're not going to get our lives back if we don't make that happen. If you think crypto is something we have to address, this is just the fucking tip of the iceberg. Everything has to be demolished. Everything these assholes have structured has to be demolished. Everything they've done is illegal, unlawful. Let me rephrase, unlawful. Everything from the Patriot Act onward, unlawful. We can go back even to Medicare and Social Security Act of 1965. All those acts, even, in fact. Understand what's going on. Nobody is out here doing you any favors. None of these Bitcoiners, nobody in the fake crypto space is out here looking to do you any favors. They don't even know what crypto is. Learn how to defend yourself, because there is no centralized entity that is in existence that's going to do it for you. They don't exist. Don't look for it. There is no government entity that's going to fix it for you. There is no PAC that's going to do anything for you. There is nothing. You, the individual that is listening to me talking right now, are the only person, the only thing that can stop what is happening. Because when you say no and everybody else around you is saying no, then it's no. It's that simple. Doesn't matter what some random individual says. How do all these kids end up in combat zones? They didn't ask to go there. You think I wanted to go to Iraq when I was 18? No, I was looking for every which way to get out of that assignment. Every which possible way. Was unsuccessful. And that altered my life forever. It might have been positive, but I'll tell you what, at that moment in time, it sure as hell wasn't. Nobody should have to go through that shit. And I wasn't the only one. There was millions of us that went through that. Why? Because all the fucking adults let it fucking happen. That's why. You comply, everything continues as is. Acting like you have to comply is the fucking problem. Learn your basic rights. That's the fucking problem. Acting like government has sole domain over you, that's the fucking problem. Nobody has sole domain over you. Nobody controls you. You control you. Your understanding of that fact or lack thereof is the problem. So take all these facts, internalize them, watch this stream over and over and over until you understand what the problem is. Get this book, read this book, understand that only you can stop what's happening. Nobody else. Because again, when there's a million muzzles pointed in one direction and there's only 10 pointing back, what do you think the reply is going to be? Them 10 muzzles going to fucking go away real quick, aren't they? They sure fucking are. So again, stop pretending that Trump is going to save you, because he's not. He can't do shit for you. There is nobody that can do shit for you. Only you can save you. Read, get that book that's on the screen, Meet Your Straw Man, and whatever you want to know on Amazon, $5.50. Get 20 of them. Hand them joints out. This is what you need to be onboarding people onto. Fucking freedom. Lawful freedom. Because if you can't do onboard them crypto, maybe you can onboard them to this and then crypto. Figure it out. But at this point in time, the time for excuses have come and gone. Because it's on you now. There is no centralized authority that's going to save you. There is no one person, no one entity that's going to fix you and your life. Only you can do that. And I hope today is just the start of your understanding how dire this situation is. Because if they can block you from, we're China at this point. This is just the start of the Chinese firewall being put up only for Americans. They're trying to find ways to turn us into China. There's a reason they've been loving China for the past 50 fucking years. Stop sleeping on the obvious, writing on the wall, and wake up. Stop pretending. That you have a clue when you don't. The worst things that ever happened to me in my life happened to me because I thought I knew something and pretended like I knew something that I didn't know, and then learned the hard way that I didn't know them. That's right. China is the model. They're not trying to find any freedom for you. They're trying to tax you to death while they print trillions upon trillions, while they try to get your kids to not know whether they're a fucking boy or a girl, while they're trying to get your kids to fucking get death jabs so they don't fucking reproduce, while they try to get you to get death jabs so you can fucking die while jogging. All these things are actually happening in real fucking time. And you still think there's going to be somebody to fucking save you. No. Just like there was nobody to save me when I was in the service for my fucking self, I had to learn how to survive and make it out of that fucking shit. Because government doesn't give a fuck. Never has. Never will. We're at a point in time where this only gets worse. This does not get better. You better evaluate your life where it currently stands and start making some real fucking decisions, because moving forward, those are the only ones you're going to have to make. The tomfoolery is over, folks. They're coming for our freedom. They're coming for our basic rights. They're coming for everything. And I've been telling you guys for a while, and it's here. If you think that this is just the end of it, then you're just not paying attention. This is just the start. BlackRock is the asset manager for USDC. I told you guys what was coming as soon as that happened. I know I haven't been streaming as much, but not much for me to say besides done told you. So please don't have me continue saying it. It's old already. Please read, educate yourself. Learn how to defend yourself. It is easy. It is not hard. When you know the actual law, even a cop is beneath you, because a cop is unlawful. They're just there to enforce policy, so that if you don't follow said policy, they can collect revenue. That's all cops are there for. They're not there to protect you. They're not. This is exactly why you see them fighting against the people, not with the people. Doesn't matter the side you're on. This is just the basic law relevant truth. It's even been dictated by the Supreme Court. Police officers do not exist to serve the public. They exist to serve the public servants. Fact, not fiction. Bet you didn't know that, because I didn't know it either till I learned it. Not much else for me to say, folks. Educate yourself. Get this book, Meet Your Straw Man, and whatever you want to know. It's on Amazon, $5.50. Share it with your family and friends, because if they don't know this shit, we're all in a bad way. You need to know how the law works. You need to know the games that they're playing if you want to win at this game called life. And everybody's getting played. Nobody knows that they are literally being lied to day in, day out. Every time you spend $1, it's not even real money. Every time you take out a loan, it's not real money. It's all fake. All the money that exists, you don't actually see it. You're already wealthy and you don't even know it. Please get this book. There's a lot that we have to learn as individuals in order to prepare ourselves for what's coming. Because if we don't, we will continue to just be debt slaves. I think we all want better than that. So please educate yourself. And it starts with you, not with some centralized entity. The feds aren't here to save you. Look at what they're trying to do. They're trying to limit your access to privacy tools, not enhance them. They want your data out there for scammers and hackers to sell and buy, because Equifax has been hacked numerous times and they still continue to publicly operate. And everybody knows they're a public company. But yet nothing's been done about their transgressions with your data. And they have all of your data. Government's been hacked numerous times. HHS has been hacked numerous times. So all your medical data, if they have it, guess what? It's floating around the internet. So again, get the book. Meet Your Straw Man and Whatever You Want to Know. $5.50 on Amazon. I don't even have an affiliate link. I'm sorry. But just go get it. Because you need it. It's always been personal. It's not now just becoming personal. It's always been personal. And this is what people have failed to realize. When you have a cohort of people that are literally trying to replicate what China is doing and act as if that's something positive in terms of the future, then yes, it's personal, and they are trying to limit your ability to progress in life in any which way. So let's stop being debt slaves. Let's stop being slaves in general. Let's start educating ourselves, educating our neighbors, making our existence more fruitful. Because when we're in control, we're in control. But when we're not, others get to do as they please. I would like to change this song at some point. Help me, help you. We out. Peace. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. Shit, motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. I mean, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Y'all deep. Everybody. My God. Ex-Asians, bro. Everybody. Australians, man. Everybody gets it. Yo, when is it told you? Dollar cost.